it is Heidi, and I am here with a review video. I just finished the book that was on one of my lists, Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things by Martina McCuddy, and the feels! I love this book. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. It's about a girl named Ember. She's 17 years old, and she lives in New Orleans with her father. Her mother died when she was young. And the book starts out, again, not a spoiler because it's literally page 1, her dad died. And so she has to go to his funeral. She's a loner. She likes to hang out at the cemetery. She has a job at the funeral home where she puts makeup on people before their wakes or their funerals. She doesn't really like to talk to people. In the beginning of this book, she's being followed by a mysterious creature, and I'm not going to go much more into it yet because this is the spoiler-free version of this video. We'll get into the spoilers later, and I'll let you know beforehand so that you can not watch the rest of the video if you haven't read this book. So the couple things that I want to talk about are: 1, the character development. Martina is amazing when it comes to character development. I felt like every single character got the time that they needed. I mean, this is a chunky book, okay? We get it. It's like 500 and whatever pages. But I think that it was necessary to develop those characters. There are a lot of them, and so each one was given their own time, and I felt like it was perfectly done. I also think that the world development was very well done. The town of Belhaven was so magical. It was magical, obviously. It was magical, but it was also so quaint. And it kind of reminded me, and my love for Gilmore Girls is coming out right now, but it kind of reminded me of Stars Hollow in Gilmore Girls. And that's kind of what I was imagining when I was thinking about Belhaven. Next, I'd like to talk about her word choice. Martina chooses language that draws a picture in your mind. And I just want to share some of the quotes from this book that I absolutely loved. I shared some in a previous video, and of course there's just more that goes along with it. Now, these quotes are not going to spoil anything, I promise, but she does have a reference to Harry Potter in here, and I have to read that. And it said, Astrid snickered, but Ember let her eyes go blank, making sure she met the girl's gaze with laser focus. At first they laughed, but it only took about 45 seconds of awkward staring before Stella cracked. What are you staring at, freak? Sorry, you two were being so melodramatic. I was waiting for one of you to scream filthy mudblood in a horrible British accent. She made sure that she said the words with her own obnoxious version of an English accent, drawing the attention of the surrounding tables. So I love that she threw that Harry Potter reference in there. It makes sense because there are witches in this book. So this next part talks about a cemetery that Ember goes and visits, and the imagery that Martina evoked in this really spoke to me and made you envision that cemetery. So the grass was overgrown, but it was like the vines and weeds just wouldn't grow there. Instead, climbing upward, covering the surrounding trees and creating a wall surrounding the space. In the center of the clearing, one enormous tree spread its branches across the space, enclosing it against the sun overhead. Huge purple flowers hung heavy from the vines, wrapping around the tree branches, and mushrooms of every conceivable type seemed to thrive around the base of the tree. Everything about this space seemed fantastical, like she was Alice and this was her strange new wonderland. She hesitated. Her magic liked this place, pulsing beneath the surface, but she felt like she was invading, as if she was encroaching on a sacred space. I totally just imagined like the secret garden in this, and that is just this small little sacred space that she kind of stumbled upon. I thought that was brilliant. Let's go to the end here. And again, this is not going to spoil anything, but it really kind of shows the struggle that a lot of the characters went through. He watched her sink into herself, letting her power take her. He didn't blame her for hiding. The world betrayed her at every turn. Her features softened, expression vacant, as her magic wound around her. And I just thought, that's at the end of the book again. Doesn't give anything away, but I thought it was such a wonderful way to describe how Ember had been treated and how she has just been going through a lot of stuff. So I really liked those quotes. Now we're going to get to the spoiler section of this review. So if you have not read this lovely book, shame on you, first of all. But second of all, stop the video, go pick up this book, read it, and then come back when you're done so that you can hear the spoilers with me. So turn this off if you have not read the book. If you have, let's move on to the spoilers. There are just so many feelings that go along with this book. I loved almost all of the characters, but I also loved hating some of the characters, which was wonderful. There are so many different things that went on when Mace and Kai and Quinn went to Georgia, and they went into that random like warehouse place, and when Mace was getting the dagger of Osiris and they met the other fantastical creatures, the world just totally expanded at that point. When Tristan was trying to get Ember to get that tattoo and she was tricking her, and then we met Aaron, and Aaron draws her this magical note with this bunny that's hopping along, and then all of a sudden it says run, and then she believes him, and then just all the secrets that are being hidden. Let's talk about the characters. So first of all, we have Ember, and here's one thing I actually really like about her, and I was talking to Martina about this. I like that she isn't instantly strong. I like that she's flawed. I like that she has to learn how to use her powers. I like that she is not trusting of everyone quite yet, and that she has normal human teenage reactions. Some of the books that are out now, and I've heard booktubers talk about this quite frequently, is that the trope of the instantly strong female protagonist is starting to get a little bit old. When I was talking to Martina about this, we both said that maybe Ember will develop her strength in time, but it's going to take time. And she needs a positive role model in order to help her get there. And that role model is Isa. And I think Isa, even though she's young, she just has this presence about her that she had to grow up really quickly. She had to take on the alpha position of the Belladonna pack at a very young age. So she had to grow up really quickly and basically raise kids who were not much younger than she was. And so I think that sense of developed strength really comes through. It's not the insta strength or like the instant I'm just an awesome person kind of deal. She had to deal with a lot as she was coming into this alpha role. Next we have Mace. And Mace, I did not like him actually through probably half of the book, if not more, and he ended up growing on me, and I swear I knew he had a soul. He had feelings for Ember. He loved Ember, but I just couldn't figure out how that soul came back into him or if it ever left. And then why was he having to suck the souls from Ember and eat if he wasn't a soul eater anymore, if he had a soul? I just wasn't sure how that was working. But at the end, when Ember had to give his body to Quinn and we didn't know where Mace went, I cried. Bawled my eyes out. Cried. Love Mace. Love him. Now love him. Didn't at first. Love him now. Next, we're going to move on to Kai. Kai is the Reaper and Tristan's brother and Ember's cousin. And he was the one who ended up saving Ember from dying in the beginning. And I think Kai is a really cool character because he knows who he is. He knows that he is attracted to men, and he is all about that. He already knows that he's in love with Rice. I think that's how you say it, Rice? Anyway, and he goes after what he wants, and I really like that about him. He questions it a little bit here and there, but it's not so much that it overtakes him and that he starts to think that everything is going downhill. He really is level-headed at times, and then there are times where he's really not. But I think that for the majority of it, he has a really level head and a strong sense of identity about himself. And next we'll go to his boyfriend, Rise, who is the strapping, muscly dude. And I think that's a perfect fit for Kai because Kai doesn't seem to be that way. And Rice is a werewolf, so that makes sense too. I think that it was really cool to have Rice, who is that strapping young lad, be really hesitant in his own identity. I think that a lot of times people think that strapping young lads and the people who look the strongest are strong inside as well, when that's not always the case. And so I think to have him have those flaws and really question what he wants and his own identity was a fantastic way to develop that character. Next we'll go with Ren, and Ren is the betrothed fiance of Isa, and I think that this character was so powerful because he didn't want to take over the alpha position, which is typical in wolf packdom, and he was totally fine being the strong man behind the strong woman. And I think that is very unique to our society today. We have so many opportunities now as women to do exactly what we want, to be the breadwinner, to have a job, to be able to stand on our own 2 feet, that we don't always need the man to hold our hands and to be in our lives. We can do it on our own. And I think to have Ren be the guy who's all about like, I say you go girl, I'll be right behind you. I think that was such a great character and it's so relevant to our time. Next we have our unlikely hero, and that is Quinn, and I loved Quinn from word one. He is just feelings, just the feelings that you get when you read about Quinn are so overwhelming because you love him from the beginning, and then you hate Tristan because Tristan like wants nothing to do with him in the relationship, even though we all know she loved him, we all know it, but she was being stubborn and ridiculous. And when Quinn died, I bawled my eyes out. And then when they brought him back, I was mad at them, but then I was like, oh, I'm so glad Quinn is back. But then he was in Mace's body and I was sad that Mace was gone, and I don't know. I still don't even know what my feelings are on this. Ugh. Next we have Alistair, and Alistair is Quinn's dad and the head of the witches in Belhaven, and he's just horrid. He is out for his own agenda. He doesn't even care about anyone else. When Quinn died, he grieved for like 2 seconds and then he was done. He didn't even want to have a funeral for his son, which, are you kidding me? Just because you think he died as a criminal doesn't mean he actually did. He was doing something really good. Then we have Stella, and Stella is a big old B word, and I'm not going to swear on this because my students are possibly watching, but she is awful. She's awful. She is awful. She's not even human. She's a witch, but she's just an awful person, and I don't like her, and she treats people so horribly that I don't even know why people are friends with her. I don't even want to talk about her anymore. I just don't like her, but I love to not like her. I love to hate her. It's awesome. Next we have Astrid, and Astrid is Quinn's sister, and I think she's just lost. I think she is trying to be a witch and wants to follow her father, but then knows her father is just a horrid person and wants Quinn back, and realizes that she did not appreciate her brother when he was around, and as soon as he was gone, she kind of like flipped a switch and was like, I want him back. My dad is horrible. I don't want to be part of this. And so I think she's just lost. And I would love to see her character develop a little more, but it was nice to see that she wasn't like Stella and she wasn't this big, awful person who was trying to rule the world. I loved seeing the struggle that she had when she was thinking about getting Quinn back, and I loved to see that she had those feelings and that human grief and that human embarrassment for what has happened. I can't wait to see what her character kind of develops into in the next couple books. And then we have Neoma, the fairy, and she, I think, was the least developed of the characters, but I don't think that's a bad thing because I'm sure later on she'll come into play and she'll have a bigger role, but she was just kind of like the constant that was there. Whenever they mentioned her, she was always doing something kind or something very nice. She loved the two animals that Ember brought back, Romero and Chester, and she just kind of had this demeanor about her that was very calm, collected, cool, very constant. So I'm really excited about her character too. Next we have Donovan, who is another wolf, and he is not originally from the Belladonna pack. He is an Omega, so he was found injured and they took him in as one of their own pack, and he ends up being Josephine's grandson, who Josephine is like the alpha witch of the Everglades werewolf crew, and she let on that she knew a little bit about what's going on, but then all of a sudden she like had all this information at the end when she came in, and she's like, oh, you guys messed up, I guess I should have told you. And I was like, what? And that was the end. Words are escaping me to describe that. And I can't wait to find out what happens. It's going to be amazing. And then we have Miller, who is kind of Ember's like old life mentor, but who actually is the brother of Josephine. And so they had this plan all along, and Ember just had no idea. And I just can't wait to hear more about how that all came about and how Miller met Ember's dad and how they had that all figured out and how they got her to work at the funeral. I mean, I just want to know all that backstory. And then last but certainly not least, we have Aaron, and Aaron is the wizard who worked at the tattoo parlor when they went in to get Ember's tattoo, and he was the one who was showing her some magic. And I think Ember or Tristan ended up calling him Harry Potter, which I thought that was pretty funny. But he ends up saving Ember from being tattooed with Osiris's symbol, and does that by writing her a little note that has like a bunny jumping across, and then it says run. And I thought that was brilliant, and I loved Aaron. And I told Martina, I was like, I loved him. Why wasn't he in the book more often? And she said, don't worry, book 2, Aaron's coming back. And I was like, yes! So I love that. All right, that was a lot of talking, and I have more opinions that I'd like to share on the book, but I'm actually going to save those for a really special event that's coming up. Martina is doing a read-along in the month of April for Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things, because her second book in the Dead Things series is hopefully, it's still on track, coming out May 31st, and so she is doing a read-along on Facebook and on Instagram, and I'm going to show you the information here. So this read-along is going to start April 1st and go to the end of April. You are going to, if you want to read along with Martina and myself, we are going to be reading 22 chapters a week. And I know that seems like a lot, but some of the chapters in the book are like 3 pages. It's very Dan Brown-esque, so it's not the super long chapters. And each week there's going to be giveaways, and there's going to be questions, there's going to be sneak peeks at the new book, and it's going to be a really exciting time to read the book. So I am partnering with Martina and promoting this read along, and so I will be posting videos throughout the month of April where I answer the questions with my own thoughts, and I share my own thoughts about what happened in the section of the book that we read that week. So I'm going to do quite an extensive review of the book during that read along. Also during that read along, she is going to be doing some giveaways. She said she's hoping to get some free copies of her book to give away to people, and she'll probably sign them just like she signed mine, which is exciting, but we'll see. Anyway, I am not going to be entering any of the giveaways because I'm promoting this read along with her, but please make sure you enter those. Please make sure you do the read along with Martina and myself, and I'm really excited about it. I can't wait to hear what you guys think. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things as much as I did. I'm going to be rereading it in April with the read along, and I hope you reread as well so I can hear your thoughts on the book. If you want to share your thoughts with me right now, please leave them in the comments down below. I would love to hear them. And also let me know if you're going to join us with the read along. I would love to see you there. All of Martina's information is going to be linked down below: her Facebook page, her Instagram page that she will be doing the read along with, as well as my link to the cover reveal for the second book and the author interview that I did with her. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day and a wonderful weekend. It was daylight savings time today, so got 1 last hour of sleep, but at least we're going to have more light, so that's awesome. I hope you join along with the read along, and I will see you in another video. Bye everyone.